big sandwiches.
Oh my God, what?
Bigger barbecue.
So good.
And the biggest pork chops.
You still my heart.
Food so good, it's worth a day trip.
Flaky and crispy.
Fluffy.
Look how juicy that is.
Look at the color, how fresh.
Fire in your face.
Hop in. We're headed straight to the heart of your hungries.
Wow. Awesome.
Boom!
Destination.
That's so good.
Delicious.
You have to keep having more.
Welcome to Food Paradise.
Hearty home-style cooking rocks in Boulder, Colorado. Take a day trip from Denver for delicious dishes served not only with a cold beer, but with a whole brewery.
Avery Brewing Company is a great place to spend an entire afternoon. If you are into beer and food and into the brewing process, this is the perfect day trip.
Adam Avery and his dad got into the brew business in 1993 in a small warehouse off an alley. A couple decades later, they graduated to their dream facility.
Beers obviously are awesome, but I sometimes think the food is actually better.
Chef Chris creates the kind of food he likes to eat, like this super secret sandwich, the Angry Clucker.
It is a 48-hour piece of chicken. It's kind of our underground item that we have that you gotta kind of be in the know to order it.
The two-day affair begins with a thorough brining.
Getting it going, getting the flavor in there. It has endless spices in it, from bay leaves to chilies to mustard seeds. That can go on and on and on. Our goal is to create a flavor bomb.
After 24 hours, Chris showers the chicken breast in creamy tenderizing buttermilk and his spice combo, featuring Creole mustard.
Creole mustard spice, it's gonna get massaged into this chicken.
Some chicken TLC, and some kitchen philosophy.
Happy life, happy breast, happy life.
The next day, even more flavor.
We're gonna elevate the flavors a little bit more to where there's a little bit of heat, also a little bit of smoke.
Then, in goes the chicken.
You wanna get it mixed up really, 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 really well. They call me Judge Dredge.
When it comes to frying, this baby is thrice blessed. Fried chicken, fried bacon, and a fried egg.
Frying bacon is music to my ears.
The fried chicken gets flip-flopped in spicy buffalo wing sauce, and the flavors build.
Toasted jalapeno cheddar bread. We also added some extra cheddar cheese on top.
The hot, saucy chicken gets cooled with tomato, and the greens are mixed with creamy garlic ranch. Then a bacon blanket, an egg comforter,
And then we have the last piece, presenting the Angry Clucker that makes happy customers.
That looks really good.
That
oh my
is
gosh,
quite
look
a
at the egg.
Oh my God, what?
Messalicious. Messy and delicious.
The jalapeno cheddar bread just adds even more flavor to it. I mean, there's flavor coming from everything in this sandwich.
There's fried egg that just gushes out into the chicken. There's melted cheese. I have never had a sandwich of this magnitude.
A wonderful day trip. I love coming here just to take in the scenery, smell the fresh air. I mean, you can't beat the beer, too.
A trip to Avery Brewing is more than great food paired with beer at its source. It's a whole experience. Adam encourages everyone to grab a beer and take a self-guided tour.
We're rinsing the bottles, we're filling the bottles, we're crowning the bottles, then we're putting the label on, it's coming around to our case packer, and off it goes to you. Drink up, buttercup, as we say.
Avery's beer quality sets a high bar for the food, which Chris clears with, Ma, the meatloaf.
Instead of just making my mother's meatloaf, I wrap it in bacon.
He starts with local ground beef, beefed up with egg.
We got our mirepoix, which is peppers, carrots, onions, celery, jalapenos.
Traditional ketchup and breadcrumbs are added in, and the mix grows bolder.
The reason why we brought meatloaf to the brewery, because it's a hearty dish that can go with high ABV beers.
A good workout lets the loaf get in shape.
It's not enough just to have a log of meat. We have bacon that we add to it. There's amazing bacon that's maple cured, in-house.
After 40 minutes of mouth-watering patience,
Meatloaf. Look how good it looks.
got us a huge home-style slice. Or two.
And then we have the gravy.
Made with Avery's tweaked beer, a bourbon barrel-aged coffee stout.
Here it is, Mom's Meatloaf. Come and get it at Avery Brewery.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. That is decadent. That is so wonderful. I mean, it just melts in your mouth. It's got some spice to it. The bacon, though, tops the thing off, absolutely.
I never thought about bacon with meatloaf before. I don't think I'm gonna be able to think of meatloaf without bacon again.
Gotta get all the flavors right up in my mouth. It's sweet and it's savory and it's spicy. Comfort on a plate. This is the reason why I drive to Avery.
No lie, this is seriously the best meatloaf I've ever had.
Just a quick trip from the Mile High City. High times are hopping at Avery Brewing Company.
We are day tripping here all the time.
Food trends come and go, but barbecue is always king in Texas. And there are several king-sized reasons you need to take a trip to Fort Worth for a giant bite at the place locals voted #1, Heim Barbecue.
It's so packed in here all the time because the food is amazing.
As you come up, you know where you're going because you can smell it in the air.
It's always a really fun atmosphere to be around, and it's always delicious.
Consistent deliciousness is how high school sweethearts Travis and Emma Heim reward the true believers who help them get their start with just a food truck and a C-note in their pocket.
The first day I cooked like 2 briskets, and we were like, well, if we sell these 2 briskets, we'll have enough money to buy 3 briskets the next day, and just go like that. And then kind of snowballed.
They outgrew the truck in less than a year and opened the restaurant in the summer of '16. Now, the smokers are going 24/7, and people are lined up hours before opening. Hard work is its own reward.
We joke and we say we do everything the hard way. Everything is done from scratch. It takes hours to do, and that's because we do things the right way here.
For a savory survey of the Heim's expertise, try the Meat Masterclass on a bun, known as the Barbecue Snob Sandwich.
Almost a full pound of meat. You get to try a lot of different things all at once.
The Snob Sandwich was created for true barbecue connoisseurs, which in Texas is everyone. And every Texan will tell you, one cut of meat is their favorite. Brisket.
This is a certified Angus brisket, so it's about as good as you can buy.
Travis gives them rubs aplenty with black pepper, salt, garlic, and cayenne.
We add the cayenne more for color. It's a little heat, but unless you're from New York, you know, it's not spicy.
Oh, New York, you just got smoked. Speaking of which,
this is ready to go in the smoker. We're using oak wood. It's got a nice, good, clean smoke on it. They'll smoke for about 16 to 18 hours, real low and slow.
While the brisket transforms into a barbecue butterfly, Travis preps something you don't see on every smokehouse menu: bacon burnt ends. Those get the same rub, only sweetened by
a ton of brown sugar. Can't really have this too sweet, and I'm really just rubbing this in. Nice pork belly massage.
Now the pork belly can caramelize away in the smoker for a day or so with its brisket buddy. Flash forward many hours later, Travis butters up a jalapeno cheddar bun to start his smoked stack.
We're building a house of meats. You got a foundation of sausage, a little chopped brisket, a little bacon burnt ends, and then somehow, some way, you try to fit it in your mouth.
This sandwich, like your jaw, is totally unhinged.
Barbecue Snob Sandwich from Heim Barbecue, worth the road trip from anywhere.
Those bacon burn-ins on the sausage, all of it in that first bite with a little bit of butter that ties it all in together. It's amazing. It just melts in your mouth.
The easiest way I can describe it is it's meat candy. It's sweet. Instead of it being strips of bacon, it's a cube that's smoked and is so delicious.
Then they'll have to wait a few minutes while we peep out another prime attraction at Heim's, the beef rib.
Look at just how good that beef looks. Incredible texture, great marbling in there. You could say everything's bigger in Texas, including the beef ribs. There's nothing better than meat with handles.
It's a beefy beacon calling to people from far and wide.
We had some folks in from Paris the other day. There was a couple from Korea. It's really neat.
Neatness counts, but not with the rib rub. The secret is simplicity.
We got a really simple rub. We got our kosher salt, and then we have our coarse black pepper. That looks pretty damn good. All right, time for a smoke break.
After 14 hours of low and slow, that chartastic rib has a bark you will definitely want to bite.
Heim Barbecue beef rib, make the trip for it.
This is the first place I ever had a beef rib, and it's the size of my arm. It's a meal in its own. Look at that. It's perfect. I've never had anything this tender before, ever.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it. So good, right?
That is so good. It just melts in your mouth.
That bark is delicious.
Mm-hmm. Look how juicy that is.
You can move it because it's falling right off the bone.
I hope you don't want me to talk, but I got nothing to say. This is too good to get in the way of. It's savory and rich. There's a lot of barbecue in Texas. You're just gonna have a hard time finding anything better than Pine Barbecue.
And if you're still not convinced, you can take it from one of Fort Worth's finest.
This sandwich is worth the trip, but don't speed through my town.
Dining couldn't be more about the destination than in Hatch, New Mexico, where the local chili peppers are literally what put the town on the map.
I drove exactly 248 miles down from Santa Fe to get some Green Hatch chili.
The mighty Hatch plays a lead role in just about every dish at the Pepper Pot. When Melva Aguirre bought the place, she knew she had to put this local hero to good use. So she hatched a plan.
You come to the Pepper Pot, you're gonna get chili. You're gonna get it made the right way. Probably we wouldn't have apples, I wouldn't be selling apple pies and candy apples, but we have chilies.
Pepper Pot's authentic Mexican recipes come from Melva's mom. But Melva's journey to claim them as her own was a lesson in cooking and in life.
I remember the smell and the flavor of my mom, but when you're a teenager, you don't care how do they cook. You just live in the vida loca. So once she passed away, I go, I need to remember this, but you add and not take out some and put more and take out some more and put another thing until you get the flavor. Then you say, oh, this is what it's supposed to taste like.
One recipe where family tradition meets local flavor is the Hatch Green Chili Rellenos.
We're gonna make chili rellenos with Big Jim. That's Big Jim, and we're grown only in Hatch. Jim is the name of our old farmer over here. See how thick they are? What we're gonna do first, we're gonna roast them. You can roast them in the oven, but I don't. I like the taste of the burning chili.
Melva continually turns the chilies to make sure the burn is only skin deep.
And you hear them, it's popping, it smells so good when it's roasting. Like when you're passing through Hatch, because we roast so much, you can literally smell them everywhere.
Once the chili is charred, she carefully sheds the burnt skin.
That beautiful green chili is inside. It's okay you leave a little bit of the burnt chili on them, it gives them a better flavor.
Through a tiny hole at the top of each chili, Melva deploys the cheesy filling, which may look like a regular lunch bag cheese stick, but was carved from an imported wedge of mild, creamy asadero.
The smallest hole you make is better. Like that, when the cheese melts inside, it won't come out.
Then Melva prepares a fluffy batter by gently folding yolks into whipped egg whites. The peppers are dipped, and then it's a secret from Melva's mom. Forget the fryer, go with the griddle.
The more important thing is the chili. You like until it's nice and crispy. It is not as greasy as other ones.
The golden griddled peppers will eventually be served with traditional sides, but right now, it's all about those chilies. Down the hatch.
And this is our hot chili rellenos, the best you can have.
Look at this plate. Isn't it beautiful? It's got such an aroma that is indescribable, even scrumptious.
I really love that the batter isn't the main part of the relleno. Like, it's not what takes the show. It's the Hatch green chili. That's the star of it.
The inside of the chili is stuffed with cheese, and it's just like so melted and yummy, and then they top it with more cheese on top, so it's like great. It's like the icing to the cake.
That's amazing. That is a perfect chili relleno.
From chilies that are stuffed to something stuffed with chilies. The Pepper Pot Burrito, Christmas style.
The green chili is roasted, then they make their red chili sauce. So, I mean, it's just a preference, really, but you get green, you get red, or both, Christmas.
The red is actually the mature version of the green, left on the plant to get a little spicier. After rehydrating in boiling water, the reds are blended with garlic, bay leaf, cloves, and a little something from the candy aisle.
This is a Mexican chocolate to make it a little bit sweet.
Mexican oregano adds more south of the border sabor. Then she jumps into warp speed. The finished sauce is combined with sizzling tender pork and simmered for 30 minutes.
We're gonna cook it in my clay pot. I always use these ones, I really enjoy it. The way it tastes is more like homemade. Look at the color, how fresh. When the home smell like that, you feel like you want to sit down and talk and say stories.
Once the red is ready, Melva prepares another pot of pork and adds her roasted green chilies.
This is a more important ingredient in this, baby.
A warm, soft flour tortilla gets a ladle of red and a ladle of green, and then another saucing post-roll-up. A blizzard of cheese, and stuff this Christmas burrito in your stocking.
The red sauce on this burrito is very bold in flavor. It's rich and very delicious. And you know, you take your first bite and you're like, I've been missing this.
The pork is very tender, very juicy as well. It's got a nice spice to it, nice little kick, good flavor.
Red chili kind of milds out the green for me. The green chili is spicier, but it's like an addictive spicy. You can't stop having it. You have to keep having more.
Which is why at the Pepper Pot, the destination and the delicious are one and the same. Hatch.
This is the best chili relleno I've ever had. Don't let my grandma hear you say that.
Melty cheese and salty pork are the backbone of brewpub food in Chicago. But in nearby Munster, Indiana, 3 Floyds is creating hard-rocking food for beers brewed to a heavier beat.
It's just got to be huge. Those beers are huge, and so our food's got to be huge and legit.
3 Floyds Brewing Company makes beers like Dark Lord and Zombie Dust, so you know their menu slays too. Scout and Pat have food fans motorheading in from Chicago and beyond for the headbanging good food.
I know a lot of people from Chicago that actually have been to 3 Floyds more than local breweries in Chicago.
We traveled very
far.
Just to be here. Because it's worth it.
And 3 Floyds goes to great lengths to make it perfect, like their pork rot powerhouse, the salt-baked pork belly.
With a Dark Lord hot sauce cure and house-made andouille ricotta.
Sounds complicated.
It is complicated, but it's better that way. Pork belly is fatty and rich, and bacon is next to godliness.
Some powdered peppers add a little hellfire.
It's Reaper peppers and ghost peppers that we fermented for a year. We make the hot sauce and dehydrate the pulp and make the powder out of that.
And then it's pour some sugar on me.
You have to cut it with sugar, otherwise it would just be fire in your face.
Now for a good belly rub.
You always want the fat on the outside so it renders off really nice in the cooking process.
Scout rocks the roll and gets the hog tied. Then things get really salty.
Kosher salt and egg whites.
That's no yolk. He gives it a good mix, then packs it all around the belly roll.
The egg whites bring all the salt together, and then as the egg whites bake, the liquid bakes out of the egg whites, and it forms a crust around the whole pork belly so that the pork belly cooks in its own juices.
After 4 hours, it's as hard as a rock, and we're not gonna bake it anymore.
At 3 Floyds, we like to get hammered responsibly. Now this pig's ready to rock and roll.
You got another thing coming, ricotta.
There's no comparing the flavor to homemade ricotta versus the stuff you buy at the store. Milk's at 180 degrees, we're gonna add our lemon juice.
While the curds and whey cook away, Scout makes a spicy meat spread.
Andouille is a spreadable salami. It brings people to us straight off the beaten path. Throw that into a nice hot pan. The bombest pepperoni you've ever had.
And how's that cheese?
Oh, this ricotta looks beautiful, nice and curded up, super creamy.
The sausage goes for a spin with the house-made ricotta.
Nice and creamy, smooth, little hunks of meat in there. It's a meat and cheese board, all in one sauce.
He toasts an open-faced base and cuts a thick slice of that juicy salted pork.
It's already cooked, but I'm gonna sear it so I get that good caramelization on the outside of that meat.
An egg gets sizzling while Chef addresses the dressing.
This veg has been on a 3-day bourbon bender. Now it's going into the blender. And there's our apple bourbon butter.
Into the greens, onto the bread, and the whole band comes together in perfect harmony.
Make the trip, eat the pork belly.
I didn't think it would come out looking like a masterpiece like this.
Oh yeah, baby. You kind of just have to attack it.
But I just like the complexity of it. Just the fried egg on top of the pork belly with the ricotta. It's just so good.
I've never had spreadable meat before. It's creamy and it's got a little kick to it.
My favorite part is this pork belly. It is just divinely done.
It's got a nice pepperiness to it. It's like thick cut bacon to an epic proportion.
You went to town on yours.
It's really good.
Seriously, something
Like
else.
butter.
Like butter.
Like butter.
Like butter.
When Wisconsin meets Korea in Indiana, you got the Three Floyds cheese curds.
People are coming here for this dish in particular. It's not normal cheese curds you're gonna get everywhere else.
Pat makes an aioli with
our house-made kimchi, which is fermented Napa cabbage with cayenne peppers and garlic, a little bit of ginger.
blended with a little beer and a lot of oil until
we got super creamy, super fatty, but with a nice hint of spice in there and just that super fermented, funky kimchi in there.
Then he makes a crispy Korean spice tempura batter using what else? Beer.
Zombie dust pale ale. All the citrus notes are really gonna help bring it all together.
That'll be nice on those fresh curds.
They're the saltiest, creamiest cheese curds that we could find. If you're not from the Midwest and you've never had fried cheese curds, then now it's time for that day trip.
Our coated curds stage dive into hot oil.
Oh, there it is. Boom!
Now plate them up and make them pretty.
This is the kimchi aioli that we made earlier.
And a veggie kimchi mix on top.
Take a ride to Three Floyds for this twisted Midwest classic, tempura fried cheese curds.
Oh.
Wow.
Look at this thing. This is what I came here for.
Who doesn't like fried cheese? It's crispy, crunchy, gooey, all that goodness.
The kimchi adds a nice element to it. It's got a little bit of a kick.
For food like this, why wouldn't you make the trip out here? It's awesome.
Steal away and make the trip to Three Floyds, but don't steal the food.
No.
Get your own. It's hard to pass up an old buddy like Eggs Benny, but for brunch beyond your usual weekend spot, day trip with us to Manhattan Beach, California.
It's perfect for brunch.
The sand, the sun, there's people. It's very lively and a lot of fun.
It's an escape from the city.
Manhattan Beach is the perfect day trip for people who are coming from Los Angeles. It's laid back, but it's got some attitude.
Sylvie's blown the midday menu wide open at her beachy keen West Side way station, Love and Salt.
We're an Italian-inspired California restaurant, and we like to have a lot of fun.
One popular dish Chef Michael couldn't keep a secret is the Down Low Burger.
I worked at this resort. I used to have this guest, he would ask me every day for a burger.
It wasn't on the menu, but the customer's always right. Michael made it and told him to keep it on the DL.
He did exactly the opposite. He told everybody he knew. 5 years later, here I am, still making that burger.
But they go quick, so we're gonna order one now. This burger's beef blend is definitely a cut above.
We're lucky to have a great butcher down the road. This happens to be a blend of short rib, ground chuck, and ribeye. It's juicy, it's tender, full of flavor.
2 5-ounce patties get pounded out, and Chef Michael's on a roll.
The bun is just as important as the burger. Brioche, it's nice and buttery, it's rich.
The seasoned meat goes not on the grill, but into a pan, along with a dash of faith.
You'll hear it sizzle. You don't want to move them around. Trust the heat, trust the pan, trust yourself.
Trust, but verify. Let's see the sear.
Surprise, beautiful golden deliciousness.
Caramelized onions take a trip of their own.
You want to do what I call coast to coast. You want to go from one end of the burger to the others. You want to get the perfect bite.
And lately, lots of gourmet burger chefs have grown fond of Fontina.
It's like the Italian Swiss cheese. It's going to add a ton of flavor to this burger.
As that all melts in the broiler, he prepares the next wave of flavor.
When you top the burger with this bun, that aioli is just going to drip down the sides just a little bit.
That aioli features a blend of eggy house-made mayo, chili sauce, tomato paste, garlic, and spices. So good, Michael loses himself in the moment.
You only get one shot to make it the best condiment it could possibly be.
House-made pickles provide the final tang for our tasty little secret.
Keep this burger on the down low.
The bread is just crisp enough, and the pickles and the onions and the sauce, it's the perfect combination.
The caramelized onions like really bring out a lot of the other flavors. It's juicy, it's delicious.
This down low burger is definitely worth a trip.
We're gonna keep it on the down low.
Love and Salt in Manhattan Beach is a delicious brunch destination with few peers. As long as the Golden Gate's open, let's sneak across to Sausalito for our next day trip delight. A place where the flavors are rocking and the customers are rolling. Barbacci.
So when you live in a big city like San Francisco that's so hectic and crowded, it's nice to be able to get out of the hustle and bustle and come to a place like this where you can relax, have some beers with friends, and play some bocce.
And it feels very international and European being here. It just feels cool.
The Euro swag comes courtesy of Robert Price, a British rocker turned chef.
When I got to California, I just fell in love with it. The food, the freshness of the fish, the vegetables, the colors, the brightness. It was like someone took the shades off and it just blew up.
And how's your Italian lawn bowling?
I'm tragic. I've played it once in the 6 years we've been open. Too busy making pizzas.
Like one of their most popular, the chicken pesto pizza. He actually uses some bocce skills to get the ball rolling.
Part of it is the ember roasted red onions, so we're gonna go ahead and throw those in the ember, just like bocce.
Moments later, when the char comes off, all that's left is
sweet and smoky. We're gonna go ahead and cut the onion into nice petals so it can evenly place on the pizza.
Chicken may be the first name in this dish, but the star here is that unmistakable, tangy hometown taste of the base.
We've created an amazing sourdough crust. That's what sets us apart. It's a beautiful, bubbly crust, but it's thin on the bottom, and it's got a great sourness when you taste it. It's amazing.
Strategic topping placement begins with hand-pulled mozzarella and fontina.
The meticulous way we put the flavors and the food on the pizza, it's not about more is more. It's got balance.
I saw fresh garlic and chicken, but what about the sauce?
I don't start with the pesto because I want the pesto to be nice and vibrant and fresh at the very end. I mean, all these ingredients are going to come off hot. The pesto will be nice and zesty.
Just like so.
Thin crust, big taste, totally worth the drive from the city.
I would say this is the best pizza crust of any pizza. It's thin without being like a cracker. It's fluffy on the crust. It's really, really good.
I love the radium because it's sweeter flavor to it. You know, mixes well with the basil and the cheese.
The pesto is the besto.
The pesto is really neat. It's not super strong and sharp. It lets everything else come through, which is unusual to me.
What makes Barbacci a delicious day trip? Classic rock legend Jeff Watson of Night Ranger.
The ferry from Fisherman's Wharf over there, ferry right into Sausalito, walk through Sausalito, see the little shops, look at the Golden Gate Bridge, come back here, get some more food. It's just perfect.
Only one way to top that sweet itinerary: dessert. Barbacci's famous vanilla bread pudding.
This is like a souffle. It's light and fluffy, and the flavors are just amazing. We use fresh Madagascar vanilla beans.
Just a few scrapings from the pod adds a smooth, powerful punch to his velvety strained custard.
Just to take out the little particles of egg white that cooks.
The bread here isn't fancy sourdough, but a nice spongy white.
I'm gonna cut the crust off, cut it into small triangles, and layer it into a buttered dish.
In between slices, the fresh-picked, boozy tartness of brandy-infused huckleberries.
I'm your huckleberry.
And quicker than Doc Holliday, Robert prepares our dessert for a Viking funeral.
Okay, we're gonna take the vanilla bread pudding and we're gonna set it in a hot water bath and place it in the oven.
A little magic day trip dust and
a tasteful way to end your day in Sausalito.
It's got crispiness and lightness. It doesn't feel heavy.
That is next level bread pudding. It's got a good crisp on top. I love the custardy center.
How amazing is that texture?
Dude, that's the bite right there.
Fluffy, and you taste the vanilla and then the bourbon huckleberries. Like, no matter how full you are, you're like, I've saved room for the bread pudding, because it's that good.
Something about this delicious destination feels just like home.
Welcome to food paradise, buddy.
When the decadent dishes and non-stop party of New Orleans start to be too much, slide on out to Slidell, Louisiana, home of Palmettos on the Bayou. Whether you arrive by car or by boat, it'll be worth the day trip.
We're in the bayou. This is a skip a day at work trip.
It's worth a month in New Orleans, that's for sure.
The vibe's a lot different than being in the big city.
And they give a good drink.
Speaking of the food,
When I moved here, I was a size 8. And eating the food here is such ecstasy that I have kind of blossomed.
for your own taste of the ecstasy Palmettos has to offer, load up on their massive double-cut pork chop. And taking her own sweet time to cook up that pork chop is Chef Cody Wade.
Everything in the South out here is sweet, just like me. This right here is kind of like our Cajun secret spice. We have a bunch of different blends together, but the sweet tea is mostly what makes the pop.
She coats that 6-ounce mega chop on all fronts with her Cajun concoction.
Just put it straight on the grill. Like to keep it simple in the South.
With a good char on all sides, the pork finishes in the oven while Cody kicks it with some compound butter.
Our compound butter is our butter that we normally put on our pork chop. Add all the shallots in.
Toss in some garlic, parsley, and lemon juice, and once cooked, she mixes it with all that butter.
If you don't want butter in your food, then you shouldn't get Southern food.
That will wind up remelting over the finished chop, which will have a rather corny presentation.
Right now, I'm about to take this corn husk and put it on the grill, so give it a little char grill color. The pork chop is our star, and the corn husk is the stage.
The last co-star is a corn and crab orzo, the diva-sized chop with butter, of course, then some crispy fried plantains.
Double cup pork chop, definitely worth a day trip.
This is awesome. It just blows up. The taste buds are excited. They're just yum. Let's have more.
That is incredibly juicy. Oh my goodness. The pork has some smokiness to it. In one word, incredible.
I think she likes it. Yeah. She says it's delicious. She said bring another plate. And she said she's going to share with her friends.
Louisiana is all about lagniappe, which means getting a little something more. So leave room for their shrimp remoulade with fried green tomatoes. Cody, give us the dredge report.
Our egg wash is buttermilk and eggs. And the buttermilk keeps the breading on there better. I have house spice in it as well. You can never have too much seasoning.
After the breadcrumbs, there's a second dip and dredge for extra crunch, and it's into the Southern foodifier. Then she hits them with the house blend.
It's a little bit of bayou goodness right there.
The remoulade tips off with a tasty blend of shallots and horseradish cream. Then the usual lineup of saucy stuff, including Creole mustard and pepper sauce.
You'll know if you didn't do it right if it doesn't change to that orange color.
Cody channels her art class skills on the plate and follows up with green herb oil, the fried tomatoes, and a fistful of shrimp tossed in the remoulade.
And right here I have our famous shrimp remoulade. Doesn't get any more Southern than this.
You still my heart. They are so good. Absolutely luscious.
It's not too spicy, but it's popping off in your mouth at the same time. There's a whole lot of happiness going on right now.
Perfectly fried. It's got that perfect crispiness. You have the spice from the remoulade, and then the tomato kind of comes behind it and cools it off, so to speak.
Shrimp cooked to perfection. These tomatoes are amazing.
Whether you're born on the bayou or not, Palmettos gives credence to a taste bud revival worth skipping out of the city for.
I'm so happy right now.
No one leaves Vegas hungry, but too much glitz can leave you thirsting for a getaway from your getaway. Like a desert day trip to the town of Baker, California. Population 800.
We love just to get away from the chaos of the Strip, just have a delicious spot where it just feels like a vacation from life.
There's Mediterranean magic just a few tumbleweed turns away at the Mad Greek Cafe.
We're Mad Greeks and we're in the middle of the desert.
Coming here from Vegas is not really that long of a drive. It is close enough, but the food is so worth it.
This place is authentic.
This Hellenic hideaway has everything from burgers to burritos, but those with a taste for the classics Greek out on the gyro.
My father back in the 70s brought the gyros to the West Coast. Up until then, there was very few places that had gyro sandwiches.
30 years later, gyros are everywhere. And this Mojave outpost is an oasis of that crazy authentic flavor thanks to Larry and his son Lazarus.
We've been here for 30+ years. We've seen restaurants come and go, but we're here to stay.
The traditional gyro flavors of cumin and onion have been around for centuries. But it was Grandpa DeBoer, the original Mad Greek, that came up with the special seasoning for their thinly sliced pork butt.
Salt, pepper, cumin, and of course, the secret spice makes it out of this world.
Another secret shared by generations of Greeks is the perfect way to cook pork. Go vertical.
As I layer the meat, I have to trim it as I go in order to create the perfect cone. That's how you get the perfect trim.
Alternating layers of onions add pizzazz.
This is Mad Greek pork gyro cone, worthy of Zeus himself.
Gyro means revolution in Greek. Larry sends that meat on a spin cycle. Then he whips up cool, creamy tzatziki sauce made with yogurt, cucumbers, and dill.
The tzatziki complements the pork and it lessens the harshness of the spices.
Back to our pork cone, which has been caramelizing one delicious 1/4 inch at a time.
We'll cut the outer 1/4 of an inch, and then the next layer will cook. Smells great. Tastes even better.
The thinner the meat, the greater the flavor real estate.
There's a variety of pitas. We use a pita wrap, which is a little thicker, makes for a better sandwich. Traditionally, the gyro comes with tomatoes and onions. Sometimes we'd like to put a little lettuce on there, give it a little crunch.
Let the toga party begin!
The Mad Greek's pork gyro. It's so tempting, it's worth a drive out from the city of sin.
Oh, look at that! This pork is so well marinated. This is how you do a gyro. This is a standard that sets the standard right here.
We got the pork, tomatoes, this cucumber sauces that is kind of yogurty. It is yummy.
Probably the best gyro I've ever had.
It just like takes over my life in this beautiful way. Nothing else matters.
I know I'm gonna want to bring a second one home. Like, this first one will fill me up. The second one satisfies.
Before slinking back to the strip, try the Mad Greek's high roll and meat magnet, known as the Onassis burger.
The Onassis burger was named after Aristotle Onassis, who was one of the richest men in the world, and our burger is just as rich.
That high-flavored net worth comes from 2 all-beef patties that are topped with cheddar and grilled alongside spicy cured pastrami.
The cheddar cheese and the pastrami just work good together.
And it's all joined together beautifully by a sauce hailing from another set of islands.
Thousand Island makes it rich and decadent. The reason why we make it backwards is the way we stack it adds to the flavor of the burger. When we stack the burgers, stack the pastrami.
The stack stops with standard veg on a bottom bun. But who can tell with all that meat overflow?
Put that flag on it.
Opa!
There you have it, Mad Greek Cafe's Double Onassis Burger.
Holy cabasa, look at that thing.
This burger's built for a god.
This is like unwrapping early Christmas presents. Awesome!
Man, best thing I had all week. Packed with pastrami, beef, tomatoes, cheese, all that flavor just rushing you at once. Oh my God.
Can I get a hit of that?
This is mine.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, one hit.
Mine.
And it's just massive. It's juicy. It's got all this meat. It's got Thousand Island dressing. This dope, soft bun. It's the best thing I've ever had in my life.
I don't know what it is. It is so good, though. This is why we drive down from Vegas. Right here.
At the Mad Greek, what happens on a day trip from Vegas could change your life.
It just makes me feel great about myself, about being married to you. Just everything is like affirming.
What?
say getting there is half the fun. But heading home from a delicious destination is nice too, especially if you got something to go. Let's salute some heroic sandwiches.
Delicious.
It's delicious. And it's beyond delicious.
Like 2 slices of bread, sandwiches are what hold us together.
This is all mine. You can't have none.
Well, that's good.
Private moment food right there.
And they're always up for a little bit of everything.
I love the texture. It's smoky. It's creamy. It's crunchy.
Super tender and really juicy.
Wow. What's your hometown hero?
Is that a real question? Like,
it's the sandwich.
In a big city like Austin, Texas, you can get pretty much anything you want on a stacked sandwich, as long as it's barbecue.
Growing up in Texas, our 3 food groups were barbecue, or fried chicken.
Texas barbecue is fantastic.
It's like a religion here, man. That's what we do.
The preachers of the pit in this neck of the woods are at Style Switch Barbecue. They're serving up Q so tasty, people don't mind waiting a while. If you're gonna queue for Q, there's only one way to get the most amount of meat piled high between 2 buns.
To me, a real hero sandwich is brisket and sausage because nothing goes better together.
You can find that delicious duo on their ode to the 70s classic Smokey and the Bandit, Buford T's Diablo.
Buford T rolls into the truck stop and he says, "Give me a Diablo sandwich, I'm in a hurry."
Buford better look elsewhere, because the Switch's brisket is about to start a low and slow expedition.
We've left some of the fat along here and a little bit over that lean part to cook up real nice. We're gonna put some simple salt and pepper rub on it. We're not gonna need a lot on here. We're gonna get most of the flavor from the smoker.
No souped up smoker here. Lance uses an old-fashioned stick burner.
There's no automation, there's no gas, electricity. It's just a man putting wood on a fire and meat inside the pit. Here in Central Texas, we use post oak. It gives the meat a good vanilla flavor.
The brisket smolders in the smoker while Lance looks on.
Just something about a pit room at night. You know, it's nice in solitude and just by yourself cooking.
Style Switch Barbecue is superb on its own, but it's even sweeter with their signature sauce.
Onions are very sweet, works really well with the smoked meats.
The onions get bathed in butter, then ketchup brings a tomatoey tang.
It's gonna really complement this sandwich.
A little pepper for that Texas pop.
Finish it off with the beef base, and we're good to go.
Fresh from the smoker is our beautiful brisket.
This right here is true Texas barbecue. When you talk about Texas barbecue, you're talking about brisket. We've got a good smoke ring right here, got some good lean cuts in here, and some good fatty stuff on top.
Any Texan will tell you that where there's brisket, there will be sausage. Lance slices a nicely spiced beef pork blend.
They're gonna add a little juiciness whenever you bite in there to add to some of that brisket.
The hero bread here is a good old buttered bun. Equally important, a base of pickled jalapenos.
The vinegary pickleness of the jalapeno along with the heat really complement the brisket well.
A splash of sauce, and it's an eastbound chow down.
Give me a Diablo sandwich and make it quick. I'm in a hurry.
Why do brisket and sausage go together? Is that a real question? Like, are you kidding me? Barbecue in Texas, it doesn't have to be just one of them. You want both of them.
The brisket, there's a little bit of the end piece that is really nice and peppery and smoky. The sausage is nice and spicy and has a nice little kick to it. It's great.
The sausage got that natural casing, a little bit crispy, you know, and that brisket's just tender. It's a combination made in heaven.
That's insane. Like, the brisket's spicy, but it's that pepper spicy. So when the jalapenos come in, it just has this other layer of heat in it.
Don't look at me. Private moment food right there.
Style Switch never rests on their sandwich laurels. Every Friday brings a new surprise, like this week's Cajun chicken champion, the Dirty Bird. To achieve poultry perfection, Lance doesn't do anything fancy.
Just a little salt and pepper. We're gonna get all of our flavor from the smoke.
No one likes to choose between smoked and fried chicken. That's why Style Switch does both to their Dirty Bird. Now bring on the supporting cast.
This is how the Dirty Bird gets dirty.
Lance creates a queso with a cheddar American melt, then adds milk.
We're gonna add our smoked jalapenos, our spicy sausage, and finish it off with a little salt and pepper.
He goes from dirty to dirtier with a little ratcheted up remoulade.
We've got tomatoes, the jalapenos, the red onions, we've got garlic. We're gonna give it even more kick with a little horseradish.
It hits the blades, then melds with mayo and hot sauce.
Woo, we're good to go.
A mix of crisp cabbage turns it into a coleslaw.
It's time to build this bird.
And in Austin, there's always room for more meat.
Kicking it into full tilt boogie, here's the Dirty Bird.
Real Texas barbecue does involve chicken. It's smoky, it's creamy, it's crunchy, and it's beyond delicious.
The chicken's amazing. It's nice and crispy on the outside, moist and juicy on the inside.
The first thing you taste is that smoked chicken that's now been fried. Whoever thought of that is a genius. Then you get that crisp bacon in there, and I think that queso kind of sets it all up.
The queso is just, I mean, it's ooey gooey running all over my fingers and face. I'm gonna eat this whole thing.
You don't have to be a hero. We'll understand if you don't want to share your sandwich at Style Switch Barbecue.
And you got your mouth around that? Did you doubt that I could get my mouth around it? No. Texas!
There's only one sandwich that means Miami, the Mighty Cuban. This paragon of pork can be found all over town, but the version served at Sarusi has been a superhero for over 50 years.
Sarusi's! I've been coming to Sarusi since I was 10 years old. It's like a second home to me. I love this place.
Sarusi speaks Miami.
They just speak it with a slightly different accent.
Sarusi was opened by a Cuban-Italian owner, which is very obvious when you look at the menu. And you look at the subs themselves, it's a mix of the traditional Cuban with a little Italian twist.
And it's those original twists that keep folks returning year after year.
The perfect bread, the perfect sauce. It's over 50 years that this restaurant has been running with the same recipe. And honestly, if you change it, then you're losing all the magic that this restaurant has.
Feast your eyes on all 16 inches of Sarusi's Cubano.
This sandwich perfectly represents Miami. This is the culture, the melting pot, the Latin, everything. This is Miami in a sandwich.
Vincenzo opens up and salts a fresh pork leg.
This is a sazon completo, which is a very famous, popular Cuban seasoning, which goes into our pork leg to give it that authentic Cuban taste.
He rubs that and some minced garlic into the meat.
This is not a sauce. It's a vinegar-based marinade called mojo criollo. This basically brings out the rest of the flavor, and it makes sure that all of the seasoning that we just put in it really penetrates the pork leg.
All that Latin love marinates overnight before getting roasted and sliced. The rest of the Miami magic is all in the sandwich building, starting with a solid foundation.
This bread adds a unique fluffy texture that you don't normally get with a Cubano, and that's what makes this bread special.
It's also baked daily in-house.
We start off with the ham. We have 16 slices of ham in each sandwich.
And the pig pile only gets higher when that roast pork moves into the second floor. Then in comes an Italian twist, mozzarella cheese, instead of standard Swiss.
It's not only for its unique taste, but for the fact that when it melts, it brings the sandwich together.
The full Cubano gets a little toasty before the final touches.
To finish it off, we put on pickles, and then we put on our secret sauce. And there's only two people that know the secret of this sauce, me and this guy. And if he feels like speaking,
that tangy orange mystery sauce has kept Sarusi poppin' since '64, so we won't pry.
For the finishing touch, we add a little bit of our own homemade garlic butter.
Yes! Boy. Now that's what I'm talking about. This is all mine. You can't have none.
Why not?
I'm eating it all.
It's incredible. The ham in it, the bread, the sauce, it's just a big explosion in my mouth. It's full of flavors. I love it. It's a piece of art.
the secret sauce and everything, and the pickles, it adds a lot of strong flavors, and the mozzarella just it gives it the perfect touch of softness.
After this Cubano, there's no other one.
The tasty conga line continues with another Latin American favorite, Cerusi's Churrasco sandwich.
This is the churrasco, a very famous cut of meat in Latin America. It's the staple of every good Latin American barbecue.
Vincenzo sets it up on another fresh and fluffy roll. He melts on more mozzarella and lays down a layer of tomatoes. He is, once again, not subtle with that secret sauce.
These are potato sticks. Unlike French fries, they're more like chips. Meat and potatoes, what's not to love?
It's like a Philly cheesesteak, but it has that Latin mix to it, which is just fantastic. It's crunchy, but then the meat is nice and juicy, and the cheese just mixes so well in it.
There's no other way to eat a sandwich, but with French fries inside. Best way.
No matter who you are, Cerusi in Miami has a sandwich you can really fall in love with. The long-established sandwich pecking order in New Orleans is in for a shakeup. Move over, Muffaletta, and get a job, po' boy. There's some new heroes in town, and they're at Turkey and the Wolf.
It's the new kid on the block. It's time for a new generation of restaurants in New Orleans and new flavors. And Turkey and the Wolf really takes the most fundamental items and dishes and just breaks it down to be like the best version of it that it can be.
Other people thought so too. One of America's top food magazines named Turkey and the Wolf America's best new restaurant of 2017.
Being ranked #1 by Bon Appetit was amazing and wild, and it came out of nowhere. We did not see it coming.
They should have, considering the long lines for their outside-the-box offerings. Like this misunderstood classic, the fried bologna sandwich.
The sandwiches here are a collaborative effort. A lot of times the idea will start with something that's really important to the way someone, ate growing up or something their grandmother cooked.
Bologna was a favorite of Mason's mom, but maybe not Mason.
It was okay, It wasn't the best bologna sandwich we've ever had. Then we're like, this is a perfect opportunity for us to do this in a way that we can all really love it.
Upgrade #1, mom-approved mustard.
We're gonna make Via's mom's mustard. Via's my buddy and also my roommate. It reminds me a lot of a mustard that my mom used to get at the grocery store, and I love.
He mixes mustard powder with vinegar, sugar, and salt.
The thing about mustard is it's gonna take you a couple days to make it because you're gonna wanna ferment the mustard seeds. This one's pretty neat because you can have it done in about half an hour.
The secret to speeding this along?
So the eggs are actually gonna thicken the mustard when we put in our double boiler. I'll have a spatula handy to kind of clean up the edges as it starts to stick. Basically, we're trying to make sure that the eggs don't scramble. As the mustard starts to cook and thicken, we whisk it to keep it off the edges. And soon it'll be thick enough to serve.
Mason butters and toasts 2 soft, super square slices from what's called a Pullman loaf.
The butter makes it taste really good.
Forget the pale pink stuff you buy at the supermarket. Mason gets artisanal bologna from his friend, Leanne.
She works really hard on it. It's smokier, it's more delicious. We let it cook on a flat top so some of the fat kind of renders out. When you kind of caramelize it a little and you get some color on it, you're gonna end up with a more delicious sandwich.
Of course, sometimes the basics work best.
American cheese and bologna is a time-tested delight, and we're proud to serve it here. Why change it?
The bread gets the mayo mustard spread.
Next ingredient on the sandwich is gonna be our shredded lettuce. On top of the shredded, got our bologna.
Then Mason pays homage to his mommage.
She used to put potato chips on it, and she was like, if you don't like it, throw some chips on there. You go pretty liberal with the potato chips, and you kind of smush them down a little bit when we put them on top. Top layer.
A second smush, and
Turkey and the Wolf's bologna sandwich.
That's freaking awesome. New fan of bologna, absolutely. I love the texture of the sandwich, the crunchy chips and like the bologna together. It's like super perfect.
There's a hint of mustard in there. There's definitely a sauce that kicks it into gear and just elevates it that much more. Once you get into that bologna, that sweet, sweet bologna. Childhood memories, just all over again, coming back.
It's so good. All the textures are there. The bread's nice and toasty and buttery. You get the crunch of the chips, you get the meatiness of the bologna, and the shreddis. I love that. This sandwich tastes like childhood. It's Americana in a sandwich.
Turkey and the Wolf uses a savory southern staple to give the classic Reuben a veggie revamp in their collard green melt.
I'd had collard greens growing up in Virginia a couple times. I moved out to New Orleans, totally fell in love.
But Mason stews the greens in butter and a seaweed-based stock.
It's a Latin ingredient used to make chicken stock, so it's like a bouillon of sorts, but it's totally vegetarian. So that's what's gonna give our collard greens kind of this meaty flavor.
Garlic, vinegar, and hot sauce add to the flavor conversation.
They're gonna sweat out a little bit, and they're gonna stew down in that juice, and we actually call that the pot liquor.
The perfect bed for the tasty greens, toasted rye. And Reuben etiquette mandates melted Swiss.
I'm going to add the collard greens to the sandwich. I'm going to hit it with some coleslaw. The soaker slice is going to soak in all that pot liquor we talked about earlier from the collard greens.
A little spicy Russian spread.
It's definitely got like the hearty savoriness of a Reuben, but it's like lighter. It's not as heavy as a Reuben.
Phenomenal. I never really thought about collard greens on a sandwich, but it's really good.
The collard greens remind me of home-style Southern cooking that I just really appreciate. It's really rich. It's an incredible combination of flavors.
Works the same way I think meat does on a sandwich, but you don't need it in this case.
There are plenty of sandwich surprises to Wolftown and Gobble Gobble at Turkey and the Wolf.
I'm not mad that it's the #1 sandwich in America. I agree completely.
The celebrated campuses of Cambridge, Mass. have produced many Ivy League heroes over the years. But nowadays, the place sandwich parents really hope their kids get into is Pagu.
Pagu serves really fun street food. You can always tell a plate when it belongs to Chef Tracy. She always puts this really interesting spin on food.
That's owner Tracy Chang, aka the Crazy Pug Lady. Like Pooch's, cooking has been a major part of her life since day one.
I grew up in a household where both my parents worked a lot, so the only time that we had together was cooking on Sundays, also going to my grandmother's restaurant. There was something that I loved about restaurants, about how I brought everyone together.
Tracy first tested her heroic sandwiches at an after-hours pop-up, and it was poppin'. A new dynasty began. But Tracy's style stayed close to home.
More than anything, this is an extension of my living room, and I just don't know how to cook any other way than from my heart.
And in the heart of New England, Tracy has totally twisted the #1 local hero, the lobster roll.
Our lobster roll here at Pagu doesn't look like any other lobster roll. Not your grandpa's, not your grandma's, but Pagu's lobster roll. I, as a kid, didn't really even like lobster, but I know that people come to Boston, they love to have a lobster roll. So if I'm gonna make it, I might as well make it the way that I like it.
Lobster rolls usually come on a hot dog bun, but Tracy's unusual black rolls are made from scratch, with milk, eggs, and yeast. Then things take a turn for the tangy, with sake kasu, a fermented rice paste she gets from a local sake brewer.
Some of the best rice that you can get in the country. And I'll add a lot of that rice sweetness.
The revered rice remnants are joined by mashed potatoes and a slurry of yeast. Then, here comes the squid ink.
Squid ink blends character into the dish that isn't always explainable through words, but you know that there's something special going on, and it'll make the bun jet black.
Once that black magic is mashed together, it joins flour, sugar, and butter in the mixer. The dough is carefully portioned and loafed out.
We make every roll by hand. It's a lot of work, but it's totally worth it.
As unusual as the buns may appear, it's Tracy's lobster salad that's the biggest surprise, starting with a creamy California curveball.
What we do in ours is we add fresh avocado so that we don't have mayonnaise, but we do have that creaminess.
And the subtle sweetness of Asian pear.
What I like about it is that it's got that lovely brightness to it that no one really expects, but they're like, wow, this is not like any lobster roll I've ever had.
That pear and avocado mixture makes its way onto the fresh baked bun. Then Tracy piles on Boston's best.
We really like to build kind of like a mountain on top.
Toasted sesame seeds and house-made chips are the final flourish. All right, who's ready to roll?
It's a new classic, the Pagu lobster roll.
So many textures right out of the gate. The avocado, Asian pear, the crunch. Lobster's in your face. Bread's a great vehicle. It's so unique. You won't find a lobster roll like this anywhere.
The pear definitely adds a little twist, especially you don't expect to have fruit in a seafood dish. So it's really refreshing end to your bite.
The lobster is super fresh. The avocado is really, really good. And the squid ink in the bun, it just takes it to a whole new level. It looks like nothing you've ever eaten, but it's also totally familiar because it's a lobster roll, but it's totally done the Pagu way.
Another Pagu precedent is Tracy's Taiwanese take on an oyster po' boy, the squid ink oyster bao.
It's a super vibrant dish. You'll see black and purple and green and white. This is the most popular dish on the menu.
Once again, squid ink transforms the traditional dough from white to black. But color's not the only change Tracy's made.
Baos are typically round or oval. To my knowledge, we're the only ones that make this bao rectangular. It looks kind of like your wallet.
The pocket-shaped pockets hit the steamer, while fresh breaded oysters hit the fryer.
We use panko, which is Japanese breadcrumb. It's a little bit coarser, and you'll get more crunch out of it.
The crispy oysters get a drizzle of house-made aioli spiked with Japanese herbs, and hey, what's that?
This is a shiso leaf. It's the Japanese version of mint. It's not as punchy, but brings a lot of freshness to the dish.
Those totally money oysters are slipped into the wallets and topped with pickled red cabbage. From New Orleans to Boston by way of Taiwan.
It's not your grandpa's po' boy.
The oyster, just because it's like deep fried and it's just this perfect texture. But then you throw it in the pickled cabbage, which just has such a nice balance to it. It's so tasty.
So the bao is like super soft and moist. When you're biting into it, it is like biting into a pillow.
It's like all of those contrasts. So you have the warm oyster and the cold, crunchy cabbage, the brininess of the squid ink bao. The aioli just sort of cuts through the richness of the fried oyster, and it's got a really kind of subtle, garlicky finish to it. It's delicious.
These are probably the best sandwiches that I've had in Boston.
In a town that's been making heroes since our country began, the sandwich revolution is in full swing at Pagu.
You are witnessing the birth of an icon.
Who do sandwich lovers have to thank for the French dip? Why, SoCal, of course. And in Pasadena, California, they're giving that hometown hero a slam dunk.
It's called the French dip because it comes in a French roll. Very American, very simple, very tasty. When it arrives right in front of you, you're like, wow, this is simple and delicious.
While the battle rages downtown over who started it, the French dip has found a new hero in Old Town, Harlow's.
Yeah, if you're gonna have an LA dip, you gotta have it at Harlow's.
This isn't just a place to come and get a dip. It's a place to get some love.
Loving you forever is the slow-roasted pork dip. Besides the traditional beef, Harlow's has additional meats, each with a different dip.
We didn't just want to serve one kind of dip. We wanted to work with various types of meats. For instance, our lamb and our pork.
That big boneless pork butt gets a dry rub featuring powdered hatch chilies.
What's unique about the hatch chili is that it comes from one small tiny spot in New Mexico where they grow them. This is what makes it special.
When the pork's all rubbed up, he wraps it in foil, all except for the layer of fat on top.
This fat cap is gonna melt down like a stick of butter down into the meat and aid in the flavoring of the whole pork butt.
That butt's in for a long, lazy braise. Meanwhile, Brian musters up the mustard contingent, made from a base of mustard seeds soaked in ale.
We like to do everything from scratch here. We take pride in anything that's being served, whether it be our sandwiches or a simple condiment like this.
With the flavor range of horseradish to honey, he shakes his mustard maker. Then, good news on the pork butt front. Swine's up.
Pulls apart very, very easily. We just give it a light chop.
Brian makes the dip, aka au jus, by adding the pork braising liquid to a thick pork stock. After some seasoning and saucening, we're ready to roll.
A semi-soft, lightly crusted roll. Excellent for absorbing our au jus. I don't think it would be a French dip if it wasn't served on a French roll.
Brian knows what side his bread's buttered on. Both. Now for some heavy grilling.
By putting the weight on, it kind of helps steam the roll as well.
The pork cooks in even more juicification.
Because this will reduce and really concentrate, so you get the real powerful pork flavor right there.
When it's all powered up, the pork is piled high on the toasted roll, served with fresh made mustard and pork au jus for the dippity-do.
Slow roasted pork dip. You gonna love it.
In LA, it's okay to be a dip.
It starts with the pork. You can tell somebody loved this pork. You always got to dip and dip well for the pork dip.
There's so much flavor to it, and it's just so tender. The bread is awesome too, especially when you dip it, it just absorbs it.
Just super tender and moist and juicy.
When you put the au jus and the bread together, bam! I mean, it's something totally different.
It's soft, but it has a crunch to it. Flaky, that's the word I was looking for.
Each bite is like, whoa, whoa. Oh, there it is again. Each one is as good as the first, and that's awesome.
After pork this perfect, why not a double dip with the braised lamb dip?
The French dip sandwich is an LA thing. I do get very excited about perfecting something that I already love.
The lamb rub is an intriguing mix of savory and sweet.
There's a lot of Mediterranean influence in the spices that we use. It's like a cocktail for our lamb. And we're not really shy with this rub either. We like to really put a good amount.
A quick cook renders the fat down and the flavor up. The lamb gets a long soak with onions and rosemary.
Goes back in the oven for 6 hours, slow and low.
And then, hot lamb. Break it down.
It's nice and tender, practically falling apart.
It goes into the pan with the lamb jus while Brian spreads the bread.
Getting these buttered up to get some soul on a roll.
He loads it with lamb, gives it a lid, and serves it with homemade lebni.
Lebni is a strained yogurt, another Mediterranean aspect to the dish.
Don't forget that tasty sheep dip.
At Harlow's, when I dip, you dip, we dip.
Classic dip sandwich with a feel of that Mediterranean. It just comes together. I'm in two places at once.
It's like a holiday. Like it tastes like kind of like Christmas or like something. It's very good.
The flavors are ridiculously complex. I definitely get that cinnamon. People were probably gonna think, you know, lamb, cinnamon, weird, but it works out amazingly.
This bread, it's like a sponge that just soaks it up, you know.
Satisfying, which everything I would want in a meal. You have your little crunch, you have your spice, and you have your liquid agent.
With its souped-up superhero sandwiches, Harlow's French dip is getting Pasadena all juiced up.
What is your favorite part of that?
The part where it goes in my mouth.
What's Minnesota's contribution to the heroic sandwich pantheon? It's gotta be the Twin Cities' own Juicy Lucy.
Sometime in the mid-50s in South Minneapolis, somebody said, hey, I want that cheese on the inside of the patty. Took a big bite and said, oh, that's the Juicy Lucy.
But these days, the Lucy, which is just stuffed with cheese, has been out-juicied by the Bluesy at Blue Door Pub.
The Bluesy? It's a total experience.
They took it to a whole new level.
The Bluesy can be packed with all kinds of different cheeses and other ingredients on top of it. It's not just cheese inside of a burger.
Co-owner, sometime chef, and full-time nice guy, Jeremy Warner, walks us through one of Blue Door's many riffs on the regular Lucy, the volcanically delicious Mount Vesuvius.
We start off, we've got an 80-20 meat mix here, an Angus blend, it's all this great stuff.
Breadcrumbs and buttermilk will give the meat magic powers.
It really helps the patties kind of stick together when we're forming it around the cheese. This is the beginning process of turning our Bluesies juicy. We're gonna cover them up, and then really, I've saved a lot of money on therapy, because I just grab this here, we just smash them out. That's really machine gun fire that you hear. It's just pop, 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 pop the whole time.
You mean like this? The hot lava in this volcano is supplied by Ghost Pepper Jack Cheese. And not just a slice, but like a whole block.
You got the sizzle right away.
Is this gonna be spicy or Midwest spicy?
This burger might sock you in the lips a little bit.
Blue Door takes regular burger boosters like bacon and gives them an extra turbocharge.
We got brown sugar, black pepper, and cayenne. And now we're gonna take our bacon and dredge that in here. Get that good and covered. And in the oven we go here. All right.
Even the avocados get an upgrade.
All I do here is I just do a little bit of a flour, bathe that good in the egg, and then you just toss it right in the panko. Just fry up this avocado real quick.
Who came up with the name, Mount Vesuvius?
I've kind of become the pun guy. Obi-Pun Kenobi is what they call me. Should be all set with our avocados now. We'll put them right on top here.
A little lime and cilantro sauce finishes the build.
Put on the hat, and there we are. The Mount Vesuvius.
I can feel the eruption.
Oh, that's good. What makes it so good is A, the heat, B, the avocado, and C, the gelatinous gold in the middle.
The kick from the cheese really got me, but then the coolness of the avocado made me want another bite of it because I knew that was going to be there to drive me home to safety.
It packs a punch, I tell you.
For Bluesy boldness with the more vacation-y vibe, try the Islander.
Take one bite of this, and it immediately transports you away to the South Pacific, maybe somewhere around Jamaica.
It's topped with a tropically spiced, citrus-marinated pulled pork.
I love the smell of the clove and the cumin, and the way that they work together is really infectious. So we'll get our lime in there. Grab our orange juice, get our vitamin C, our olive oil right here. We'll take the cilantro and just kind of, build a little bed around it over the meat. And then lastly, we just kind of squeeze in some oranges and just throw the whole thing in there right in it all. It's gonna come out amazing.
2.5 hours later.
Oh yeah, it's just falling apart. And this is exactly what we wanted to have happen. Just mouth-watering deliciousness right here. Oh yeah.
This Bluesy has Munster cheese on the inside and some pepper jack on top. Balancing all that rich meat and cheese, a little mango salsa.
Pat that right on top. And then lastly, we drizzle that with some habanero garlic aioli. And we've got the Islander. A tropical vacation for your taste buds.
Look at that, the cheese oozing out is oh, look at that.
Wow. It's a good flavor between the beef and the pork and then all the cheese, the mango. It's a luau in your mouth.
So stop by the Blue Door for a heroic bellyful of Bluesy.
In my belly.
You know the cheesesteaks. You know the roast pork with greens. But on the south side of Philly, there's yet another sandwich that's been making noise for nearly a century at Nick's Old Original Roast Beef.
You can get a cheesesteak on any corner. I mean, there are millions of places, but there's not a million different Nick's hot roast beef. You just can't get this sandwich anywhere.
I've been coming here since I was 8 years old. I knew Gene and John, the original two brothers who started this, and it's the same place, same food, nothing changes.
Nick's stays the same because it's a family operation. 3 generations since 1938. But for the OG, original granddaughter,
Hi, I'm Lil.
family's not the main ingredient.
It's not about us. It's the sandwich that makes them come in and the friendliness that surrounds us. I want to fill up the place with happy people and let them hang out together.
And everyone's hanging out for Nick's original, the roast beef sandwich.
It's the most popular sandwich in the city, and no one does it like us. No one hand carves roast beef, same way it's been done for years, since 1938.
Special props, too, for being the only sandwich shop in Philly still serving prime beef brought in fresh every day from the butcher. Chef Chris studs the beef with whole cloves of garlic, then adds a dusting of salt and pepper. Hey, Chris, that's a pretty big cut of meat.
On an average day, we sell about 500-600 sandwiches a day. Now, the beef this size, we should get maybe about 75, 85 sandwiches out of here.
He's gonna need 6 more of these, so let's pick up the pace. Chris applies a coating of flour to create texture on the outside, then adds oil and veggies to the roasting pan before sending it all to the oven.
Time to go to work.
While the beef cooks, Lily explains her philosophy on gravy.
A lot of people have sauces. Sauces are produced from stuff that I don't know what, okay? Our gravy is from our beef. Added with vegetables, and there's no artificials.
When that perfectly roasted beef emerges from the oven, it hits the line, where it's hand-carved and layered onto a fresh-baked Kaiser roll. And then comes the cheese.
What we use here is our specially aged provolone. Just been that way since '38.
People say sometimes, I want Swiss, I want American. Sorry, buddy, this is not have it your way. This is how we feel that the sandwich should be. And I have fantastic flavor buds. And if it pleases me, it will please anybody.
And everybody is pleased with Nick's Original. Calling it the same old sandwich is a good thing.
This taste has been part of my memory for over 20 years.
The perfect blend of seasonings and the cheese and the gravy, and it's sloppy as hell. Heaven on a roll.
I like to get the gravy and just soak it in the sandwich. It just makes the bread taste great. And the actual provolone, it's awesome. It's the best.
And for locals in the know, it's another historic reason for coming to the city of brotherly love.
You have to visit the Liberty Bell, Reading Terminal, and you must not leave without visiting Nick's Roast Beef. You have to get one of these.
There's a classic country kitchen in Lexington, Kentucky that has a lock on authentic local sandwiches.
Totally classic Kentucky.
There's no room for improvement here. It's delicious.
Kentucky cuisine, Kentucky foods, and Kentucky architecture. You can taste it, you can see it, you can smell it.
As beloved as bourbon and bluegrass here are the beautiful bites served from this century-old house, Stella's Kentucky Deli.
It's a great time in Lexington for food. We've got the best sandwiches in town.
Including their version of Kentucky's contribution to the sandwich pantheon, the Hot Brown.
The Hot Brown was developed at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, and I think perfected here, right here in-house.
Legend has it, the Hot Brown was a hotel chef's late-night improvisation made for a high-rolling guest trying to head off a hangover.
Start with a little bit of butter. You're gonna go with equal parts butter and flour.
Lester's developing a luscious Mornay sauce to top this open-faced feast. Next is the creaminess of this cream.
This is Monterey Jack cheese. It's from just outside of Somerset, Kentucky, about an hour and a half away, and it's amazing. This is exactly what you're looking for right here. That's right. It's creamy, it's cheesy, it's rich.
And you know what that sizzle means.
We're cooking some bacon right now. It adds a little bit of crispiness, it adds salt, it adds depth of flavor.
A slab of sourdough goes on the grill, then thin slices of juicy house-roasted turkey breast. And even the tomatoes get hot and bothered.
Warms them up. You don't want a cold tomato in the middle of your sandwich.
Piled onto a plate, and it's a cascade of silky and smooth.
Piece de resistance, the Mornay sauce.
And one final taste bud tickle.
It's time to get down on Stella's Hot Brown.
May I have one more?
I think the Mornay sauce is going to become my new favorite sauce.
It starts with the layer of sourdough, and then you've got tomatoes. The sauce is so good.
You can't have a hot brown without sourdough bread. It's just perfect toasted bread. Just perfect every time. What are you doing? Why haven't you had a hot brown yet? You're in Kentucky.
In the belly of the deli, Lester brings some country to a citified favorite with the fried green tomato BLT.
We do it a little bit different. What we do is we try to emulate the old Kentucky cooking method of a cast iron skillet.
That grill top has been seasoned with 30 years of Lexington love.
It really imparts a nice, deep, rich flavor.
As the sourdough browns, Lester oils the tops of the tomatoes.
I find that it cooks more evenly when you do it this way, because we usually try to cook it in the same spot. This is what we're looking for. This is pretty much perfect.
The bacon is pre-cooked for convenience and to let the tomatoes have the spotlight.
You got too much grease on there, the tomatoes are gonna get blackened, actually. They'll overcook really quickly.
Like a sauce sommelier, Lester knows just the right condiment.
And we put the basil mayonnaise on there because basil and tomatoes are a match made in heaven.
And here comes Plan B.
That is 5 strips of bacon.
Then Lester brings it home with the LT.
Here at Stella's, this is the BLT of choice.
The way that they cook the fried green tomatoes here really highlights how delicious they are.
It's not deep fried, so you get the flavors of the grill in there as well.
Oh my goodness, this is good.
It's tart, it's crisp, it's fresh, and the basil mayo that they put on it, it's delicious.
Beautifully simple.
At Stella's Kentucky Deli, every sandwich is like a champion thoroughbred between 2 slices of bread. Sandwiches are like life. The daily bread gives us structure, and everything in between is what makes it special. The Flavor Fiesta is on.
Ooh, you see that?
This is the Latin flavor I love.
Fire right here, man. You have no idea.
So fresh, so now, so full of, what's that word?
Sabroso.
If that's not sexy, I don't know what is.
Oh, wow. It's totally authentic.
We're talking plates packed with Pan-American passion.
It's smoky, it's tangy, acidic, sweet.
Kind of creamy.
It's salty, it's spicy.
This is food that speaks to your very soul, and it's what you want to eat.
I'm delicious. Eat me.
From the American South to South America, homestyle comfort food is all about love. And our first stop is in Puerto Rico, via Smyrna, Georgia, where Chef Andre Gomez has left the light on for you at Porch Light.
Having a mom that was from Argentina, my dad being from Puerto Rico, and growing up on the island, it was really about the food, the culture, the ingredients, and everything that makes it unique.
Food is what binds us together. Food is what makes us feel loved.
And that's what you get here at Porch Light. You do. You feel that same feeling here.
You do.
Yep.
Andre wanted his restaurant to feel like home, like family calling you inside to eat and enjoy. So he called it Porch Light Latin Kitchen.
My mom would flicker the porch light when it was time for dinner. We have 3 porch lights that used to be my great-grandmother's, and here they shine in our restaurant.
Pull up a rocking chair and share in the Puerto Rican fried pork chop can-can. First, a pre-game pep talk from the Pork Whisperer.
I'm gonna make you so delicious, you're gonna make people happy.
That's more than just a pork chop. That's a pork chop hugging a pork belly under a blanket of pork rind.
It originated in Puerto Rico. When I decided to open the restaurant, this is a dish that I had to have. The scoring is just to separate that fat, be able to, as it cooks, render some of it, and really let it get crispy.
Andre mans the pan, combining spices and such to make a mighty brine. He gives it that mojo mojo using his squeeze and drop citrus technique.
Almost makes it taste like mojo, which is the traditional Caribbean flavoring.
After stirring, heating, and cooling,
now we're just gonna take this beautiful pork chop, put it in the brine, and let it marinate. See you later, baby.
While those flavors dance the can-can, Andre whips up a dipping sauce with garlicky seasoned oil, lots of citrus, and some spicy love.
I can make people happy through the food, and through my food, their whisk is my command.
While those flavors combine, he gets the pork from the brine.
It's kosher salt, that's number 1. All the way down on the pork chop. And the adobo, that's Latin American seasoning, baby. Sabroso.
Andre goes loco with the adobo.
Woo! And here we go. Happy pork chop on the grill, baby. Let's roll.
He gives it a serious sear, sealing in the flavors with a smoky char.
So you got that crispy skin just crackling down. That fat from the belly really gets surrendered down, and it makes for a real, real delicious pork chop. Now we're ready to take it off the grill, put it in the fryer, and just finish it off.
While the can-can does some fan kicks in the fryer, get on this citrus tip.
A grilled lime is much, much better than a raw lime. You're getting that sear, the juices.
Places, everyone, for the big dance number.
Eso! Look at that, baby. Your most favorite part of the pork chop just got transformed into the whole can. Porch lights on, so come get you some.
I'm not sure what his magic powder is, but I'll tell you what, it's amazing, the flavor. It just pops in your mouth.
This is the best pork chop I ever had.
The fat always gives the meat the most flavor. So you get in here, and look at that beauty.
Looks delicious.
It comes right off the bone.
This is a beautiful, exquisite, amazing piece of meat. I don't know how they do it.
He's sharing the love. The love for food.
To Pork Life.
Finding even more ways to pack in protein is as easy as uno, dos, tres with the triple torta.
Torta refers to a sandwich. We make a triple torta. A take on a Puerto Rican dish con tripleta. Using 3 different cuts of meat, everything adds different layers, different textures, which is what I like in my food.
Did you say 3 meats?
There's some pork belly that we cure and smoke, pork collar that gets rubbed down and roasted, and then our short rib that gets grilled and braised. The way we season it and add the layers of flavor, you will taste it like you were somewhere in Puerto Rico.
Our meats rest on a raft of local ciabatta bread dressed with a garlic aioli spread.
But we're gonna add a little romaine lettuce with the chiffonade, just to add a little green to it.
Shredded short rib mixed with the shredded pork gets topped with thick slabs of pork belly and a super sexy egg.
1 meat, 2 meat, 3 meats, triple torta. Come and eat.
Look at this. Looks like breakfast and lunch and dinner all in one.
It's almost like a Cuban sandwich, but it's like soft and moist. Lettuce is hiding out in the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. That's bacon.
It's just flavorful. It's juicy. It's home. It fills your soul. It fills your belly. This is true Latino cuisine. And this is it.
Porchlight Latin Kitchen lights up the greater ATL with Puerto Rican home-style TLC.
When you have it, you've had an experience. You feel love. And Latin food is love.
Our longing for south-of-the-border flavors leads to Miami, where among the high-rises of the downtown financial district, you can invest in some creative burger futures at Pincho Factory.
Pincho Factory is the spot to come to for Latin foods. There's nothing in the street that compares to this right now.
Pincho Factory is very, very Miami. It has this flair to it. It's very warm. The music is always bumping.
Pinchos are basically delicious snacks, and co-owner Otto Offman wanted to find a way to help his cooking cousin, Nadal Ahmad, bring his creative dishes to the Miami masses.
The whole concept started off as a drunken 4th of July joke. I was really unhappy with what I was doing for a living, and Otto just exclaims that night, hey, let's open our own restaurant.
2 days later, he calls me and he goes, I'm already looking for locations. Let's just do it. We'll do this Miami Latin street food vibe that nobody else is doing.
So many different Latin American countries really inspire our menu, from Nicaragua and Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic.
First up, Nicaragua, and a creation culled from its most popular cafes, the Fritanga Burger.
We have these counter-style Nicaraguan restaurants called fritangas, and one of the things they're most known for is fried cheese, and usually a grilled steak and the cabbage slaw.
The big cheese in this dish is the big cheese. Nadal slices the queso blanco into 1-inch blocks and preps them for frying. Hold on, what's this madness?
Just goes right into the fryer as is. They have a little lower salt content, and it fries up really well. You don't have to bread it or anything.
As that naked cheese gets crispy, Nadal grabs equally naked cabbage and begins a nice slaw process.
It is kind of our interpretation of the authentic Nicaraguan slaw. This is just lightly pickled, a little bit of vinegar, salt, and sugar.
He mixes it up with his lucky pink spatula.
Matches the rest of my life. I have 3 little girls, so everything is pink in my house.
Also pink is the burger patty, which hits the grill with a little S&P as Nadal tends to the fried queso that's no longer blanco.
This is the absolute perfect cheese for a burger. It not only adds the flavor and the cheese factor, but it even gives you a slight crunch on the outside.
The crunch factor extends to the buttery grilled bun, which is a solid foundation for the burger, that crispy cheese, and the tangy slaw. Now, you gotta have some sauce.
Crema is like sour cream's Latin American cousin. Picture sour cream and butter having a baby, and that's kind of what you get out of it.
That burger's ready to cha-cha. Let's dance.
And here we have it, Miami favorite, the Fritanga burger.
Fire right here, man. You have no idea.
I've been eating fritanga since I was a kid. So the fact that they were able to put all the ingredients onto a burger is very nostalgic.
Now departing Nicaragua on a non-stop flight to Venezuela for the Tostone Burger.
It's inspired by traditional Venezuelan cooking, so they make a shredded beet sandwich in between plantains. We took that and made it in burger form.
Now, is that a plantain or a tostone?
The tostone refers to the plantain when it's green before it's ripened, and it's twice fried.
Gotcha. The first fry softens up the plantain so Nidal can show us why this dish is such a smashing success.
Latin American food is really great. Its popularity really comes from, non-traditional ingredients and the fun you have while you're cooking it.
Fry number 2 makes them crispy. Then they get a trio of secret seasonings. Not so secret is the salt and pepper going on the burgers or the jack cheese. That double-decker is bussed to the Tostone along with some veggies and house-made cilantro sauce.
There's a lot of cilantro in Latin cooking, and if you don't have it in one of your ingredients, you're just not doing it right.
Oh, he's doing it very right.
Nothing says Latin American like a burger between two plantains.
The moment I took that bite, it was just like heaven in my mouth. I taste the cilantro sauce in the burger, and these plantains are so crispy, and it literally makes the burger perfect.
A burger doesn't get more Miami than this. These 2 fried plantains, seasoned perfectly, the burger's juicy, everything tastes awesome. Fried tostones are like a maze.
Sauce is very distinguished. It makes the meat and the tostón even taste better, and it gives it a little pizzazz. It just brings the best part of Latin culture into a burger. It's great.
As long as Pincho Factory keeps manufacturing major flavor, Miamians will raise a burger to them.
To Pinchos.
Longing for delicious love, South American style? Get yourself to Thousand Oaks, California.
This is the Latin flavor I love.
Here comes our tour guide now to the fantastic taste of Peru.
What I wanted to do was bring Peruvian flavors, fuse them with California flavors. You bite into it and just flavor happiness happens in your mouth.
You're gonna smile and open wide for all the good things happening at Mouthful Eatery.
We were lucky enough in Peru to have immigrants coming from China, Japan, parts of Africa, European, and we were able to combine all those into what has now become what Peruvian food is.
One such cross-cultural craving that's totally baller, the Albondigo sandwich.
We've all had a meatball sub, so I wanted to make it into a Latin version of that.
And Luis is not afraid to ruffle a few feathers with the filling.
Our turkey meatballs are awesome. You might be wondering why not beef? I'm just a turkey lover.
Who can blame you with this gobble-worthy spice blend?
Dry oregano, which brings a little bit of Italian flair to the mix. Smoked paprika for color and flavor.
Then it's garlic and sauteed onion. Even the meatballs' binders are tasty.
And we're gonna finish with our breadcrumbs and potato chip mixture. Now let's get these hands in there and become one with the meat.
He gives a shout out to the author of this recipe.
Esta es tu receta, mamá. Now we're gonna use our friendly ice cream scooper to form them and then put them in the oven.
25 minutes later, look at that vacation tan.
They're nice and golden brown. We have infused our sauce with roasted jalapenos, which is chipotle. A nice spice that will play really well against the sweetness of the actual barbecue sauce. These turkey meatballs will sit in the sauce for a couple of hours and they will just suck up all that nice flavor into them.
Then an Italian curveball ingredient that would only occur to a next-level kitchen genius, pesto. But not the kind with your basic basil.
We use kale and arugula.
Along with garlic, seasoning, and olive oil.
It should have a cool, thick consistency and a bright green color. And it's delicious.
Even the bread is a labor of love.
This is our ciabatta bread. We bake it until it's golden brown. And right before it goes into the oven, we put a little bit of olive oil. Mom, that's for you. A little bit of parsley and salt.
That ciabatta's the perfect spot for a meatball quartet.
Next, aged provolone. We're gonna heat it up a little bit so it just covers all our meatballs.
The pesto gives a pop of color and freshness, and the crowning touch has a nice ring to it.
Our house-made onion rings, the thick cut kind.
Delicioso, no doubt.
Albondigo, our meatball sandwich here at Mouthful Eatery.
It's a little tangy, but it's spicy. I like that spice.
It's sweet, it's spicy, it's crunchy. Just a unique combination of flavors.
Then you got the pesto, too, a little Italian there.
It's one of the juiciest meatballs I've ever had.
The onion ring, that's my favorite part. Worth every bite.
Another addition for your Amazon of an appetite, the Lomo Saltado.
It's a perfect mixture of Chinese technique, Peruvian flavors, and just a full explosion of taste.
It's the marinated meat that makes this one magic.
We only use Angus skirt steak.
That's gonna float in the flavors of garlic, red wine vinegar, Worcestershire, olive oil, salt, and pepper.
At this point, we can refrigerate our meat for 4 hours, and then we'll be ready to cook it.
Faster than you could say Lake Titicaca. Luis whips up a sauce with some real snap.
Our ají amarillo aioli, and the star ingredient for that is our ají paste. Peru is really well known for their ají peppers. It is the signature ingredient for our cooking. You want a creamy consistency, but you also want to be able to spread it so you don't want it too thick.
In another example of United Nations, a little Chinese influence. And we're walking...
Oil, it's going to smoke. We're gonna add our marinated skirt steak.
Lomo Saltado translates as jumping beef. Here's why.
What really flavors this dish is this smoke that's happening right now. Try to move it around and get that smoke back into the beef. See that jumping beef?
Now, red onions and Roma tomatoes want in on the fun.
Might as well jump.
And it all gets seasoned with a sauce heavy on the pisco, a Peruvian grape brandy. Now, let's get sandwiched.
Our ciabatta bread, crusty in the outside and soft in the middle. Ají aioli, right? This has the soul of the sandwich.
Then another particularly Peruvian piece, potatoes.
Steak fries line the bottom of the sandwich.
Machu Picchu, that looks good.
Our Lomo Saltado. Your taste buds will be jumping with joy.
That's so good.
It's just super juicy, like perfectly cooked steak. It's amazing.
I've been in Peru and I've had a lomo saltado. It's totally authentic.
With the steak and the fries, everything works so well in the sandwich.
Luis's loyal fans would never trade the Peruvian pleasures of Mouthful Eatery. Not for all the beans in Lima.
Awesome. It's so good.
The Pacific Northwest is a long way from Patagonia, but you'll be transported from Portland to the Pampas after just one bite at Lechon.
I'm Peruvian, and it actually reminds me of when I was a kid growing up.
The fun of this is that you can be in Portland, Oregon, and you can feel like you've been transported to a completely different location.
Chefs Yako Smith and Arthur Doolin aim to entrance their customers with the fantastic flavors and creative cocktails of South America.
If you think about South America, meat is king. And that's what we do here at Lechon.
At Lechon, the flavors originate from several South American locales.
We traveled to Peru, Chile, and Argentina last year, and it was just amazing. And we really got inspired by the food and the cuisine. Everything was fresh, beautiful, light flavors, simple cuts of meat.
This is the place to go for carnivores. To get to share meat and chorizo and ribs, it's phenomenal.
Lechon means roasted pig. That's why it's no surprise that this South American meatery's specialty is Chilean pork ribs.
In Chile, they just love their pork ribs. These are farm-raised in Oregon. They are bursting with flavors, and they are so different from the traditional ribs that we have in America.
No barbecue sauce here. Chef Yako makes a marinade out of achiote seeds, garlic, red wine vinegar, and orange juice.
This is just gonna add a little bit of sweetness and then some acidity as well. I think the biggest difference here with the ribs are just the spices. There's a lot of spices and a lot of citrus in it. The flavors are just like bursting.
The rub is packed with all the hot prospects from your pepper contact list: jalapeno, ají, chipotle.
This will give a little bit of smokiness to this rub. We want to lighten this up with a little bit of lime juice.
A final cascade of canola and blender blades do the rest.
It's just amazing how all these flavors come together. It's delicious. This is gonna tango with some pork rib.
Chef seasons the ribs with S&P, then lets the heat seep in.
You want this heat to like go inside the meat and dance with flavors.
While the ribs tango into the oven, Chef Jaco shows us his sweet side.
We are going to make an onion marmalade. We're just caramelizing our onions real quick. A little bit of our honey. Then we're gonna deglaze with some red wine. This is gonna give that little bit of acidity to these onions.
The tang of lemon brings brightness and balance. By now, the ribs have roasted.
Oh, these smell amazing. These ribs are just falling apart.
Well, what about that Chilean crisp?
I want to caramelize them on the parrilla. So in every household across South America, a parrilla is how they cook.
Cooking over these simple iron grills is a tradition Argentinians introduced to Jaco's South African homeland.
The Argentinians teaching South Africans how to cook on the parrilla is what I remember from my childhood. You got fire, you got meat, you got a parrilla. I mean, this is South America right there.
He plates the ribs with the marmalade and an extra pop from pickled peppers.
Chilean pork ribs travel from Portland to Chile in one bite.
My life up until now has been a total waste of time. I'm from Kansas. No flavors like this in Kansas City, none.
The meat is moist and soft, but then the crispiness of the outside, you gotta try this.
It just comes off the bone like nothing.
This marinade adds a little bit of a sweetness onto that meat. It's a good balance.
The onions are incredible. The honey lemon marmalade is like an explosion of flavor, for real. Oh, I got the sweet heat over here, though.
I don't know if I can talk. These are so good, I just want to eat some more.
Patagonia style is all about mixed meats served symbiotically, a harmony achieved in LaShawn's flat iron steak with chorizo. Jaco's sous chef Arthur marinates the steak with garlic, oil, and sea salt.
This is what the gauchos will have. Seasoned well, marinated, and cooked on the grill. We like to move it around, let it get color. We're just looking for nice caramelization over the whole piece of meat.
The chorizo also chars.
When you eat meats in South America, you just don't eat one meat. We're gonna cut the chorizo in half at an angle. You can see the fat inside of the chorizo just kind of leaking out on top of the steak. It looks delicious.
Another necessity in the Grand Chaco chimichurri.
One more spoonful, can't have enough of this sauce.
Lastly, a ring of pickled red onions and a spicy splash of orange paprika oil.
Do you want a taste of South America? Come to Portland, no passport required.
The meat just explodes with juice. Kind of a tang, I think, from the pickled onions. Oh my God, it just keeps coming.
This chorizo will change your life. Hands down.
The steak is perfect. The chorizo has this awesome char on it, spicy, flavorful, robust.
The chimichurri is creamy, but not too intense. It really feels like I'm in Argentina right now.
So get on the gaucho tip and enjoy the leisurely Patagonian pleasures of LaShawn.
Hey, what time is it in fact? 6:30? Goodness gracious, I have many hours of meat ahead of me.
When Mexican flavors got together with American cooking, it was a match made in heaven, or at least Houston. That perfect couple had a baby, a big baby, and they named it Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex is life.
It's like Mexican food with a Texas twist.
This Texan says it's necesita.
Houstonians with a hankering for true Tex-Mex hightail it over to El Tiempo Cantina. El Tiempo's Food Foundation is a sizzling hot, juicy, delicious family legacy.
My grandmother was famous for introducing fajitas to the world, becoming a very beloved figure in the city of Houston.
The grandson of Tex-Mex pioneer Ninfa Lorenzo, Dominic named his place after the Spanish word for time, in honor of their time together.
We take Tex-Mex to the next level by continuing a tradition that my grandmother started by cooking from scratch, with love, using only the finest ingredients.
El Tiempo brings Mex heat to Tex beef with their brisket stuffed burrito.
Tex-Mex is Mexican food on steroids. Everything's bigger.
First, Dominic corrals the perfect cut.
The brisket is the quintessential cut of meat here in Texas. It's a religion.
He furrows his cow, making hashtag flavor pockets.
We want the rub to get way down in here. So we're gonna go about 1.5 inches across with these deep cuts.
Then Dominic adds some humidity to the usual dry rub.
It's very unique, as you don't see wet rubs too often. Woo! Smoky heat. Let's put it on the brisket.
Like most of us, this meat needs to be kneaded.
You want to get deep into these cuts that we made.
On both sides.
Once the entire brisket has been rubbed and everything is covered, it's time for the smoker.
For 12 hours, the flavor smokes in as the fat renders down. Meanwhile, back at the ranchero sauce,
the workhorse salsa of our kitchen epitomizes what we do every day cooking from scratch, and it reminds me of my childhood.
Grandma would be so proud. Buttered up onions, jalapenos, and garlic meet a savory chicken base, along with tons of juicy tomatoes, both diced and sauced.
We're trying to create a chunky salsa ranchera, so we don't want to break down the diced tomato too much. It's one of my favorite recipes.
Once the ranchero is sufficiently thick, Dominic lassos our brisket. Yeehaw! On a fresh flour tortilla, he layers the three amigos of Tex-Mex: creamy beans, spicy cheese, and tender beef.
Let's fold this beast. But we're not done yet. Now, we top it with our wonderful salsa ranchera.
Followed by a melt-worthy mix of Monterey Jack and cheddar.
And now we're gonna finish it off with what we call color.
Red and green, and a heap of sour cream.
Brisket stuffed burrito.
Oh my goodness, that is really good.
Tender, flavorful, a little bit of the crust, perfect.
Tastes like Texas brisket, all wrapped up in a Mexican burrito. It's awesome.
It's more meaty, almost more meat than they can put in there.
For Tex-Mex at its Tex-Mexiest, El Tiempo knows what time it is.
I'm dying and gone to heaven.
Heaven is Texas.
We merengue on down to Miami, the stateside epicenter for Cuban cuisine. The sun is shining, the beaches are beautiful, and the flavors are fabuloso at Havana Harry's.
Havana Harry's stands out because of the twist that it does on traditional Cuban food.
They make great food, the portions are great, the flavor's great, just love it here.
Havana Harry's is more than just a restaurant for me. This is my kitchen on a daily basis.
Grown up in her dad's kitchen, owner Nieves Fial got a firm foundation in the fundamentals. Then she busted out freestyle.
My father's restaurant was strictly Cuban. Here at Havana Harry's, we like to incorporate all the Latin flavors.
Not to mention a whole ocean's worth of shellfish in their seafood veradero.
The name of the dish comes from a very famous beach in Cuba. It's probably one of the most beautiful beaches in the world.
Nieves mixes many Cuban flavors in her marinade of lime juice, soy sauce, and rocoto pepper.
Rocoto pepper is a Peruvian pepper. It's very spicy.
The dish boasts a six-pack of seafood, starting with corvina, a South American sea bass.
We use it in our seafood varadero because it's flaky, it fries easy, it's tender.
The corvina gets marinated, then rolls around in the beachy breading. That's followed by octopus, calamari, and the hero of Muscle Beach.
We leave the shell on the mussel because it's more fun to eat. This is tiger shrimp. Last but not least, our Florida lobster. I find it personally a little less sweet than Maine lobster, but for us, it fries better. We'll open the lobster, so it fries better and also get all the breading around the whole lobster.
We're gonna need 2 fry baskets for this bounty of sea harvest.
It's fry time.
Afterwards, the light and crispy nuggets are piled atop fresh veg.
We just mix everything in here, all the seafood together, and the cherry on top, Florida lobster.
Brits would want to pair this dish with chips, but in Cuba, it's all about fried yucca.
Yucca is basically our potato.
Citrus marinated Frio onions add tang, and a trio of spicy sauces make it all samba.
Cilantro sauce. This adds a nice green color to the dish. A rocoto sauce. This pepper is very spicy. It will burn your tongue. You gotta use a little bit only. Ají amarillo is a Peruvian pepper also. It's not as hot as rocoto, but it's very hot also.
That's some mountain of Mariscos. Can you even lift that thing?
What do you think I am, a wimp?
My apologies.
Seafood varadero, delicioso.
Lobster's mine, Carrie.
It's like you're on a treasure hunt and you keep finding these delicious bites of seafood.
The fish tastes as fresh as is coming off the boats in Batabano, Cuba.
The corvina, excellent. It was light, it was flaky, and then a light batter around it, excellent flavor. Wow, look at that.
Absolutely my favorite lobster I've had. This is the perfect crown on the top of the seafood platter. Very sweet and delicious. The corvina is absolutely scrumptious. I feel like when you look at this, you could be sitting over one of the little beaches in Varadero.
When your Miami mealtime needs a remix, do the Cuban slide over to Havana Harry's.
I feel really, really sad for everyone that's not eating this.
Our deep dive into the many sides of Latin cooking continues just outside Detroit, in the suburb of Grosse Pointe Woods, where it's getting very Venezuelan at Garrido's Bistro.
We love it. We crave it. We're here probably twice a month, I would say. Yeah, we're
Twice a week.
Twice a week sometimes.
I think this is the best restaurant in Grosse Pointe because it's very relatable to American comfort food, but has a Venezuelan twist on it.
Vanessa Gonzalez fell in love with Michigan 5 years ago and wanted to bring a taste of her home country to the Motor City.
Venezuelan cuisine is just reminiscent of comfort food, of tasty but approachable food.
One familiar feeling dish with that Venezuelan verve is their incredibly well-built Casino Royale arepa.
We're making a Venezuelan staple. This is really important. I mean, like for Venezuelans, this is a life or death thing. We all learn when we're little how to make arepas.
This simple bread really is child's play. Vanessa adds warm water and oil to white corn flour and gets all needy on it.
This is so entertaining. I mean, when you're a child, you think you're helping out with dinner, even though your little arepa is all crooked because of your little hands are not used to it.
That dough will get dropped in the fryer with slices of ripe plantains along for the ride.
We want it to be a little thicker because when they fry, they get crispy on the outside, but they're soft on the inside and really sweet. They're delicious.
While those fry, Vanessa gets multicultural.
The Casino Royale is really not a traditional arepa. It's more like a mix of cultures. It's half Venezuelan, half American. Ooh, you see that? This is an Angus beef burger patty. It's 1/3 of a pound. And this baby doesn't need anything else but salt and pepper.
Even in South America, you can't have a burger without some cheese.
We're big on cheese. We call it Latin cheese. It's a fresh cheese, slightly salty, and the best way to eat it, it's seared on the flat top.
While that cooks up with some bacon, she preps her hot and ready bun.
I'm delicious. Eat me. This is the arepa. Just came out of the fryer, and we have to open it up real fast.
As a former engineer, Vanessa knows you need a solid foundation.
Here's the guasacaca. That would be Venezuelan version of guacamole, which is very limey, very citrusy.
The bacon, cheese, and plantains stack up, get a swirl of secret sauce, more sliced avocado, and lastly, a milder sriracha-laced mayo.
When you attack this Casino Royale arepa, you better come with a big appetite.
Arepa!
Wow. The avocado blends in good with the plantain, so it makes it more rich. The cheese, not like your typical cheese. That's kind of creamy, but it has a sweetness to it. It's not as heavy or as thick as a regular burger bun. I think the magic happens right here. Whatever this like avocado sauce is on the bottom, yes, that's money.
With 1,700 miles of coastline, Venezuela is no stranger to fresh fish. And Garrido's continues their cultural mashups with seafood pasta.
Seafood pasta is an Italian dish, but we give it our own spin, more of a Caribbean taste. Love the smell and the sound of garlic sizzling.
Her seafood medley, mussels, calamari, shrimp, and a full baby octopus gets a proper garlicking before being deglazed with wine. Next stop, Sauce City.
We make a mean marinara. It's really good. It's actually an Italian grandma's recipe that I didn't steal it. She gave it to me.
That freely given sauce sweetens up the seafood before Vanessa tosses in her pasta and piles it on the plate.
I like to do the pasta first because that enhances the presentation, and you know, you start eating with your eyes, so it has to look good first.
She arranges the shellfish, making sure to crown it all with the octopus, and finishes it with a drizzle of a second sauce.
This is our house-made pesto. The oils that make basil taste like basil and smell the way it does bring out the freshness of seafood. Garrido's Bistro's seafood pasta. From Venezuela to the Motor City with love.
I love it. I can't wait. An octopus and all its legs. It's so good. The mussels are no joke. I mean, check them out. They're huge.
You can taste like the tomatoes blending in with the seafood and the sauce, and the pasta's cooked perfectly.
This is a girl's favorite thing.
The Venezuelan vittles at Garrido's Bistro are so good, you may not want to come up for air.
You can't stop. You gotta keep going.
With all the bright lights and exotic foods in Las Vegas, you might forget that Nevada is in the heart of the great Southwest. Until you get a taste of Mexican flavors done with Vegas flair.
It's like classic Vegas, bold and powerful, and just soaks you in. That's what this food does.
Absolutely.
Just off the strip in an area called Paradise, Bandito Latin Kitchen steals the food show with a fiesta of flavors and colors.
The most unique Latin American spot in Las Vegas. You won't find a vibe like this anywhere.
Hi, guys.
The rat hombre behind all this luscious lawlessness is Kent Harmon. Opening this Mexican cantina was a lifelong dream of his.
I love Latin food. I grew up around Mexican culture because my grandma moved here from Guadalajara, so I was surrounded by Latino culture.
If I want Mexican food in Vegas, I'm like, let's go to Bandito's.
Showing us his steaming batches is Chef Jordan Perry.
I love Latin food. It's very resourceful. I get to be very creative. We get to take things that people are very familiar with and have a lot of fun with them.
The Olé gets underway with the habanero shrimp and carne asada.
We are in Vegas, so you gotta have a surf and turf. This is like the Bandito surf and turf.
Thick chunks of steak settle into some citrus for a long, tangy, and tenderizing marinade. But don't stop thinking about tamale.
Every Latin celebration, we gotta do tamales.
He fills corn husk with creamy masa, adds cheese and jalapenos, and folds them into the tamale pot. While those steam, 3 sauce amigos, carrot, cream, and blood orange meet Señor Habanero.
If you like spice, this will light you up for sure.
He rounds them up in whippy-tie-I-O habanero sauce. Then bright, vibrant veggies get a little saute, and next up is the surf.
We have these beautiful Mexican brown shrimp from the Gulf of Mexico.
While those saute, they get sizzling, and it's hello hot stuff.
If that's not sexy, I don't know what is.
Now that he's set the mood, Jordan drops some carne knowledge. His inner clock knows to pull the meat off the grill at the precise moment of medium rare.
We'll slice it. Look at that.
Below the surf and turf, he buries a tamale treasure under a rainbow of snappy sauteed vegetables, then pink steak and golden shrimp.
And we just add a little bit extra of this delicious habanero blood orange puree.
Topped with a bright taste of even more colors.
This is our habanero shrimp and carne asada here at Bandito Latin Kitchen and Cantina.
Wow.
There is actually a tamale in there.
Look at how big, fat, and juicy that is.
It's so juicy. This is the way carne asada is supposed to be. It's so delicious.
Setting that flavor bar several nachos above the rest is Bandito's Barbacoa Nachos.
Barbacoa is like Mexican barbecue. Gives you everything that reminds you of barbecue, but with Mexican flavors.
Jordan gets a big, beautiful brisket covered in lots of dry rub.
This is one lucky piece of meat.
He rubs it in, then he pours on the char.
Our Mexican barbecue sauce, it's acidic, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's salty, and it's just gonna give the brisket so much flavor and moisture that when it comes out, you're gonna wanna eat it through the screen.
While his brisket gets a long, slow braise, Jordan hits the queso jackpot.
We're gonna make a cheese sauce that's so good, you're gonna feel like you're committing a sin eating it.
He strikes it rich, upping the cheese ante by $3,000.
A blend of jack cheese, mozzarella cheese, Oaxacan string cheese. It's gonna give you that nice pull, like you would get if you're eating like the best pizza of your life.
Queso accomplished. The barbacoa gets pulled out and pulled apart into long lariats of love.
You can use a fork, you could use your hands. It doesn't matter because it's just so tender. You can just look at this and it'll fall apart.
On to fresh-made chips goes a layer of cheese melted to perfection, and then black beans pureed for maximum chip coverage, all smothered in rich, creamy queso.
You just gotta pour this on. Then we're gonna add the star of the show, the beef, and then we're in Vegas. Lots of colors, lots of fun happening in Vegas, so we gotta have fun with the garnishes. Just a medley of yum yum in your mouth. Banditos, barbacoa, nachos, bringing Latin America to Vegas.
Wow, oh my goodness. It almost looks like a little Mexican flag with the colors.
It sure does. It almost looks too good to eat.
The amount of flavors you get is just booming in your mouth.
That barbacoa is so sweet and
It's
juicy.
so tender, too.
Everything tastes like it was just picked out of a garden and thrown on top.
And that's Latin American food. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Viva Las Vegas! It's colorful, flavorful fun every time you steal away to Bandito Latin Kitchen.
A fiesta in your mouth.
I love it.
Bandito!
These dishes are proof. The further south of the border you travel, the more your world of flavor will expand.